Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be covering Uranos. He made his first appearance in Captain Marvel, issue number 29, that was released in August of 1973. He's one of the oldest and most powerful of the Eternals, technically being the Granduncle of Thanos, although he's known as his grandfather, and also standing at least 8 feet tall and weighing at least 1,000 pounds. Clearly being taller and bigger than both Odin and Thanos himself. Also having red eyes, no hair, and blue skin, although his forearms and hands are a darker blue color, as well as there being cracks on the right side of his face, which are due to him resisting the mental probing of his eternal brothers. Now, Uranos is what's known as a patriarch, which is one of the most powerful and oldest of the Eternals, as I stated before. He's far more powerful than most other Eternals, as well as being more powerful than most all Omega level mutants, easily displaying that he's at least slightly more powerful than Legion. As such, he has vast superhuman durability, as well as vast strength. He also has significant energy projection abilities, not only being able to fire blasts from his hands, but also having optic blasts that have a petrifying effect. Uranos also has slight matter manipulation abilities and can fly, not to mention he has telepathy, similar to many other Eternals. And at the end of the day, Uranos is virtually immortal, just as many other Eternals, with him having lived more than 1 million years. Now, despite Uranos being extremely capable on his own, it's also worth noting that he has a formidable weapons cache, having unimaginably advanced weapons that he can call forth at any time, as long as he's outside of the Exclusion, which is a pocket dimension that I'll explain in a minute. Matter of fact, his weapons are so powerful that they are known to be able to destroy the machine that is Earth, as well as it already displaying that 0.003% of them were enough to kill off 11,553 Arachai mutants in just 30 seconds. Oh, and it's worth noting that Iska the Unbeaten, who has a mutant ability to never lose, felt that Araco had no chance against him, and her mutant power caused her to switch sides. The only downside to this is that Uranos' weapons are so powerful that he can be overcome by his own cachet. Now, Uranos is a key figure within the Eternals of Marvel. Being one of 3 revered patriarchs, he embodied a radical ideology that threatened the very existence of all life on Earth, nay, the universe. His story is a complex tapestry that speaks on ambition, betrayal, and the constant struggle between order and annihilation. Now, millions of years ago, the Celestials, who are powerful cosmic beings, created the Eternals, which was a race designed to shepherd humanity's development. Among them were the 3 patriarchs, Kronos, Oceanus, and Uranos, who initially ruled their brethren. However, a fundamental difference in philosophy would creep in and split them apart. You see, the Eternals adhered to 3 principles. The first advocating for the advancement of humanity, the second demanding the protection of Earth, and the third promoting the correction of excessive human deviation. Uranos, being consumed by a twisted interpretation of these principles, envisioned a final solution, which was the complete eradication of all non-eternal life and the imprisonment of the Celestials for their own protection. He truly believed that this would fulfill their service to the Celestials and ensure their own safety. But this proposal would spark outrage among his brothers and the rest of the Eternals. Therefore, a brutal civil war would kick off that was known as the Uranosian War. This dark chapter in Eternal history would ultimately conclude through the betrayal of Uranos' own grandson, Druid. And although the rogue patriarch would be defeated and imprisoned, he wouldn't just be locked away. He had devised a way to always stay relevant, because he made a failsafe, which was a self-destruct mechanism linked to his own existence, that would ensure if he died or if his mind was tampered with, it would trigger the destruction of Earth. This horrifying consequence would bind the Eternals to keep him alive and captive, a living weapon of mass destruction. Even during his imprisonment, he would cast a long shadow. The remnants of his loyal followers would refuse to accept their leader's demise, and they resorted to creating a patchwork clone of Uranos, leaving with this false leader to establish a colony on a distant planet named Uranus, which was obviously named after their fallen leader. This act would also further show the fracturing of the Eternal society. Now, keep in mind that there's a caveat to Uranos' captivity. You see, the Prime Eternal at any given time can temporarily permit him to be unleashed for 1 hour, effectively making him this living weapon as I stated earlier. Now, centuries would go by, and Uranos remained confined within a pocket dimension known as the Exclusion, being untouched by the changing tides of eternal society. However, when Thanos, his great nephew, became Prime Eternal, he was granted access to the imprisoned Uranos upon Druig's suggestion. The confined patriarch would sense a kindred spirit within his nephew, seeing him as a potential successor to his ideology. Therefore, he would give Thanos the key to his armories, further empowering him to potentially unleash the weaponized failsafe. And despite Thanos and Uranos not seeing quite eye to eye on everything, this gesture is what led Thanos to honorarily grant him with the title of his grandfather. Subsequent to this, with the discovery of mutants, the Eternals faced a new dilemma. At this time, Druig, who had usurped Thanos as the Prime Eternal, saw dangerous similarities between mutants and deviants, another genetically altered race considered a threat. He would launch a devastating attack on the mutant island of Krakoa, only to be morally hindered by the Eternals' second principle. Therefore, with him being desperate for a weapon, he found a workaround, and he would free Uranos for a single hour to unleash his destructive arsenal upon Arakko, which was Krakoa's sister nation. Uranos' Rampage would inflict immense devastation upon Arakko, leaving a trail of wreckage and casualties, including the apparent death of the powerful mutant named Magneto. However, Uranos' own power would lead to him being sloppy, and he didn't check to make sure that they were all destroyed, which they weren't. Nevertheless, if we fast forward to Uranos' second release, it would also prove equally catastrophic. With him being imprisoned again, he would find himself sharing a cell with Druig, which was a twisted form of justice for Druig, since Uranos tossed him around regularly. Meanwhile, the mutant Storm would be entrusted with the key to release Uranos for another potential hour of destruction, which came due to a series of roundabout events and was a horrifying responsibility that was thrust upon her as a consequence of Druig's actions. Yet, despite the temptation, Storm would defy expectations. With her being faced with the prospect of genocide, she would destroy the trigger, preventing the use of this monstrous weapon ever again. Now, Uranos remains a chilling figure in the Eternals narrative. His radical beliefs nearly brought about the extinction of all life, and his existence or non-existence will continue to pose a threat. He embodies the frightening potential for destruction that lurks within even the most advanced civilizations. And while he's defeated for now, the specter of his ideology and its destructive potential hangs heavy over the Eternals, a constant reminder of the delicate balance they strive to maintain. Now, for his powers and abilities and his influence on the Marvel Universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Uranos a rating of 10, which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, and join the new Sage.